Welcome guys to this video today. It's me and Kelsey. We got our coffee. Alright guys, it's me and Kelsey and we got our coffee, so cheers.
Oh yeah. And today we're filming a high school relationship advice.
Yes.
So let's get into it. That was really awkward. Okay.
It was actually raining outside, so that's why we came back in, but this is the best high school relationship advice. Probably. Maybe.
Coming from yours truly. Okay, do you want to start? Okay.
Alright, so one piece of advice that, I think is very crucial is one of you pretty much, should be able to drive, because if you're in high school, if you're a sophomore, you should be able to drive so that usually, you'll be over at, I'll go over to Kelsey's house. Sometimes Kelsey goes over to my house. At least have one of us to be driving. But then if, none of you can drive, at least maybe, have a spot that you guys can go to or have, a friend drive or, a parent to drive you somewhere. But yeah, that's a big one to be able to drive, so.
Yeah, and if you can't drive or anything like that, another thing is, having your parents on board and letting your parents know, because a lot of the times you need their support for a relationship or having some support system, like a group of friends or people you're close to, or anyone to help you support through the relationship, because there are times you're going to need to talk to someone else other than the person you're with.
That's true. Another thing that you guys, can do and should do is pretty much, plan out your dates, because, sometimes, with, getting sidetracked by different things, and sometimes you miss out on date opportunities or things like that. Mm-hmm. So, talk to, your girlfriend, or your girlfriend talk to your boyfriend, say, hey, we should do this day, or, plan accordingly, every single week, or, certain months, stuff like that that you guys, should be in, cooperation with.
And with planning dates, it's just so that you can get out of the house. Yes, have your dates where you sit and watch movies and relax and everything like that, but also make sure you're going out. Go out to a park, go bowling, go swimming, something to
Yeah.
Yep.
Or you can bring her to the restroom and suplex her for 5.
Okay. Next thing would be communication, and that also goes along with what we just said with the dates. Mm-hmm. Communicate when you're gonna do things, when you have practices, when you have family events and stuff like that, so you can plan to go together or be apart or whichever.
Yeah, exactly. Communication, if you're in a high school relationship, any relationship, but if you have communication, always communicate, because you don't want to get on the wrong page, because once you start assuming, that's when, things get, you get into fights, disagreements, arguments, and it's really, not a good time. So always be in communication, talk through whatever, I tell Kelsey, everything, what's going on, the good, the bad, the ugly, things like that. So just make sure that, you're both in this together, and you should both be understandable, and you can be vulnerable at times, and your partner should respect that vulnerability. So once you guys can recognize that, just communicate. You're on your way for a good relationship.
Yeah, and also tying in being communicating would be being honest and open with each other, which is kind of synonyms in a way, because if you're not open and honest, then you get in fights, you hide things, and hiding things and lying and everything like that isn't really good for a relationship, at least not a long-term relationship.
Yeah, exactly. So another thing, especially in high school relationships, you guys sometimes always want it to last. You want everything to be perfect. But if something bothers you about, the other person, maybe, Kelsey, she likes to pick her nose all the time. I'm just kidding. But if the other person does something, and I don't want you to say not to change your partner, and if it's true to what your girlfriend or boyfriend does that makes them who they are, don't change them, but if it's just little things that that bothers them, maybe if
it's chewing with your mouth open, or they chew their gum, I don't know. Sure,
it's just things that bother the person. Let's say if Kelsey hates foot massages, but then I love giving, I love touching feet or something. She doesn't like foot massages. She should tell me. But just things like that, again, communicate. And if something really bothers you, and just to talk about it, I think is a big thing too.
And if you're uncomfortable with something, you shouldn't be afraid to tell your partner if you're uncomfortable with anything in the relationship. And with going back to like what bothers you, it shouldn't be every little thing, because if every little thing bothers you, then you're not in the right relationship.
Right.
So the next thing would be for anniversaries or month anniversaries or just like holidays and everything like that. Clarify gifts, like how much or how little you want to spend, and just remember that the little things matter than buying some expensive gift or some expensive thing.
Yeah, like, you know, me and Kelsey, like, especially like early on, you know, so we've been together for 2 years now, and especially like in the earlier months, like, you know, every month, you know, we'd always, you know, write each other letters and stuff and little sentimental gifts, and those were the things that like really meant the most. Other than when Kelsey bought me a ring light, that was a tearjerker right there. But just those sentimental, like, little things that, you know, mean a lot in, you know, early relationships, especially, you know, in high school, if it's like your first or, you know, your early, you know, when you're starting to date and stuff. So.
Yeah, little things definitely mean a lot. It shows you care, and it's another time to be vulnerable and open and communicative with how you feel.
So another thing, like, going along with like gifts and stuff like that, also to clarify, you know, like, who's paying if you know, go out to eat. And, you know, for me, it was like always like I'm paying for everything. Like, if we go out to, you know, a restaurant or like anything like that, like, I'm always paying gift wise. Just like I wanted to.
I tried to.
Yes. So but so that's a big thing. I would say definitely for, like, you know, the first, you know, couple dates, like, you know, like, the guy usually like always pays, you know.
But
for,
you don't
everything.
have to do it that way.
Exactly. You don't have to do that. But that's why you should, you know, communicate, because that's.
You don't want like that awkward situation at the table where it's like, oh, are you gonna pay or am I gonna pay or who's gonna pay? And lastly, you have to make sure you're happy in your relationship. And you'll also have to know, like, if you're not happy in a relationship or not comfortable in a relationship, that it may not last forever. And you don't want to be dating someone just to break up along the line or anything like that. Like, it's not healthy to be going through so many breakups and putting yourself into a relationship that isn't good for you.
Yeah, and especially like if you think like just because you're dating, you know, the popular girl or the popular, you know, sports guy, things like that it's cool and, you know, you should be with them, you know, you should do whatever they say, whatever. You should definitely not do that, because you're just in line to have, you know, have your like mental state just be destroyed by that.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, you should really date someone who you think could, you know, go a long time, and, you know, you have to see a future, you know, with that person. So I think that's big when you're deciding, you know, who you ask out or things like that.
It definitely is. And with like a friend or with a relationship, like, you have to make sure that your friends stick with you too. Like, if you're in a relationship like with the most popular person or something like that, and that's not who you are, you're changing yourself, and I don't know what it could gain you if you're losing all your friends just to be with a guy that may dump you later on. And it may work out, but are you really being true to yourself is the question.
That's true. Never change yourself, you know, when you're in a relationship. Like, for me, I think myself was like brought out more than, you know, like hiding myself, you know, putting on this fake persona that, you know, some people like thought that I was. Like, Kelsey thought I was a total different person than like kind of what I actually was. So I think a lot of people have that impression, but once, you know, you really get to know the person, then you can make your own judgments. But yeah, that's another thing. Do not, you know, sacrifice who you are with, you know, who you're dating and what you want them to think of yourself.
Yeah, but there's also like the part where you can change yourself for the better in a relationship. Like, he used to say frickin' all the time.
I did.
Until I was catching him on it all the time, and now he doesn't say it as much anymore. But like, that would be changing for the good rather than the bad.
Exactly.
And it's kind of knowing what's good and what's bad is a little bit
exactly
you need to know about, but
yeah. Anyways, I think that gave you guys a great start. If you guys would like a part 2, make sure you comment below. Make sure you like this video if you did enjoy it. Kelsey, did you have fun making this?
Yes, it was super fun.
It was actually really fun. So thank you guys so much. Subscribe to the CK Story. We just hit 1K, so thank you guys so much. Let's see if we can make a run to 5K. Anyways, Kelsey, any last words?
Nope, as usual.
Okay. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for watching. See you guys next video.